Morning, everyone. We'll give people a couple more minutes to log in here and start probably about 9:05.
Good morning.
Morning.
So were you guys on last week or I missed last week's meeting? I was at a national convention with my son.
Morning, everyone. How's everyone doing today?
Good.
Good. How about yourself?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Doing good.
Good morning. Do people know this meeting is taking place?
Good morning. How's it?
Yes. Do
How's Elizabeth today?
I'm okay. How about you?
Good. Were you at last week's meeting? I wasn't able to. I was at a national convention in Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, well, that was fun too. I was there for part of it.
You there?
I'm really disappointed in this meeting thing, but I guess it is starting. So if anybody wants to jump on, they can.
Oh, well, do you want to jump on?
I did. Okay.
To go out and take copious notes so you can fit in.
Okay.
Post the recording later. I haven't seen one of those yet.
Okay. Bye. See, I don't think Lynn Condos is going to be able to join us today. She has some things going on. Um, I'd like to see this meeting work out because we used to do this and it was really good. We did it back in, 2021 and I think it helped to keep us more invested in our own work and that of others. I'd like to see that happen. And right now, I don't know who all's listening, but I certainly would be willing to lend my help in making these meetings not only interesting, but valued, so that each of us left feeling that we knew each other better and that we had more of a sense of our own strategy personally and as a group.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Well, I think it's really important today because we've all become really disconnected. And I'm sure I'm not the only one that feels that. I hear that a lot from clients and from friends and people that I meet in business. And I
Yeah,
know,
yes.
Yeah, so just
yes,
to let you know, Amy's Zoom just crashed. She's trying to get back on currently.
okay.
So I was thinking it'd be kind of nice if we discussed what type of things we'd like to, go over on the next meeting, if nothing else. Um,
Well,
kind
that
of,
sounds like a good idea. It would seem to me if we took 4 or 5 minutes to recap today's meeting and then to kind of build a little agenda for next week, that might be one workable way to handle it.
yeah,
How
one
does
thing,
that sound
w-
to
one, one,
others?
one thing I was thinking is even if we did like a pre-meeting discussion, like, just kind of going over what people think they'd like to go over on next meeting, and even put in the chat some of those ideas. And that way, as the meeting goes on, if two people are talking about one subject and another person, whether it be the leader of the meeting, whatever it is able to read over what, so we could put like next meeting, and then, next meeting, could we go over blank? Or, and then maybe at the end of the meeting, that way it's given people a chance throughout the meeting to kind of look at other people's thoughts and go, you know what? Yeah, I could go with that too. And that way we could kind of take like a little vote, possibly, if nothing else. And then we all know what we're covering at the next meeting.
Well, that's a thought. And I
That's a great
think,
idea.
can you hear us, Mosumi? I think, am I correct in pronouncing your
Yeah,
name?
yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, I can hear that. Yeah.
Okay, great. It's so nice to see your face. And I see
Yeah.
Amy down there at the bottom. And Michael, I don't think I've
Hello.
met you either.
Well, I've been here about 4 years now. So yeah,
Okay,
we don't get together much, I have to say that. And one of
that
the things that I think people like about NRG is that it is kind of hands off at sometimes. Like when I used to work at Keller Williams or Caldwell Bankers, you're always expected to go to these meetings that had really nothing to do with anybody except going, rah, rah, look at me. And, that kind of gets old fast. So I agree, well, you had a good suggestion about having an agenda that is pertinent to, increasing our business and things like that. That would be a good thing. But it has to be topics that people really want to, talk about or are relevant as of our current market, which, by the way, I think is shifting again.
I think you're
Yeah,
absolutely right.
some of our in-person meetings, like our last one with Dominic Damaris, he talks a lot about it's a HECM loan, so it's kind of like a reverse mortgage. So our in-person are not required, but it's nice to go to because a lot of them do have some useful information. I know I'm trying to get one coming up that has a program that can be all cash. I'm also working. Last week, Andrew sent me a referral of his lender that he was talking about, where it's basically a buyer accepted program as well. So there's a lot of loan officers that are doing a lot to try to help increase sales as well.
Mhm.
But I do agree that we could probably do some virtual. It's nice now that we can be back in person a little bit to kind of see some faces here and there. It's nice to be on these virtual calls because they're convenient, but it's also nice to see some smiling faces as well in person.
Thank
I
you.
think we do need both, but I think one of the
Yep.
problems is that we are not out of the COVID woods, no matter what anyone tells us. I just uh, got out of quarantine myself, having had COVID for almost 2 weeks. And I don't always feel comfortable depending on what's going on. And I think this winter has been a real trial because of the travel difficulties, the ice and the restrictions that we've had on the roadways. I was really pleased yesterday when I came out of my dental appointment, which I was finally able to keep after the COVID thing, and saw little leaves coming out on the shrubbery. So we have to think that spring is coming. I think the biggest problem that most of us face is something similar to what Michael said, and that is that our real estate business and the strategies that we used to be able to count on just simply don't exist. And every day is kind of like pickup sticks. Remember the old kids game where you poured it out and all the sticks were at all kinds of angles and you were supposed to untangle that one little stick at a time? Well, unfortunately, real estate has to a large degree become, to me, a game of pickup sticks. You move one twig and one little piece and all of a sudden it's crashed and what you were planning on doing is no longer workable. I think that's going to be one of our biggest things going into spring. And the other thing is that people are sitting on what they have. They're not interested in moving because they're afraid they won't be able to better themselves. They're afraid of the costs, and not only of mortgage costing, but our municipalities and all of the other taxation authorities are all also taking a bigger dip and looking at what they can get out of property right now. So all the way around, we are in a market where there are few listings still. I have a listing that I would have thought would sell very quickly that is not sold out in Prior Lake. And I'm told that people don't want to go to Prior Lake because it's too far away. Whereas a while ago, people were saying, oh, yes, let's move to places like Prior Lake where we'll be safe. Well, the rules were not really established. The views and the individuals that we have to work with have very different ideals and different goals. And we're going to have to be really good, I think, at developing our relationships. And relationships have been less valued in real estate for a while, but I think they're going to become even more valued. And that's what we're going to have to do is positioning ourselves, I think. Well, Lynn, you did make it.
Yes, I did. I have people working downstairs, but I'm gonna take a little break and listen in. I heard you expounding. How many people are on the call?
What's
Looks
that?
like 9.
Currently, we have 9.
Oh, good. Progress is being made.
Yeah, anybody, so you said you have that listing out in Prior Lake. Anybody else have any other listings that they have coming up or any buyer needs? I know I seen a post last night on the Agent Connect for somebody having some buyer needs as well.
I have lots of people who would like to buy who have not owned or who have owned something smaller and are ready to get a larger place. The biggest problem is they just simply can't make the numbers work. The median price has risen, as we are all too aware, and the types of property don't always fit with the kinds of buyers that we have. I'm seeing more young families coming up and wanting to expand. I'm seeing investors coming along and wanting to be able to get a foothold in the property market, but it's very difficult to do. A lot of the places that need renovation are not going to be a feasible type of buy for some of the people who would like to invest. So how do we make it mesh? How do we make the people that we know get excited about what they actually could do, not just what they would like to do? I think we're kind of back there in that type of a market where we have to be very realistic and we have to say, well, you could get into investing. Yes, you could. Here's how you could do it. I have a little workshop that I put together on how to become a property investor on with $25,000. And I could show that to people all day. Biggest trick though is I still have to find something that they would see or be perceiving as a value. Too many of the people that I talk to who want to invest are not willing to invest slowly. That is, they're not willing to get their foot in the door. They want to buy something for $1 million right now, and they want to put down about maybe 2-3%. And I think, well, we could sell that property all day, but where is it? And the fact is, there isn't such a thing, and we have to re-educate our market or our potential purchasers. I don't know how we're going to do it, but maybe if we all put our heads together, we can think of a way that will work.
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're hoping to get out of these meetings here. The minds coming together and what's worked for people, what hasn't. I'm sure as people join us, they'll have their own things that have worked for them. I know I've been having a lot more first-time home buyers as well. And the other group that I've had is people downgrading, so getting back to that single level living as well. So I've had it not too many in the middle. Like you said, everybody's kind of holding off on that, but I think those first time home buyers, even with their parents' direction, are, hey, buy it now, you're still getting equity, but you can always refinance later. It's still better than renting. And I mean, even rentals out there right now are just not even out there. So I mean, housing all around is just going up everywhere.
Well, true. I think the other thing is that we have a situation that maybe harks back in history to some extent, and that is the group that we would think would be most viable clients right now, as far as even being first-time buyers, are the people that are in that millennial group. And I'm sure all of us have researched that to some extent. One thing that I've noticed is that the people that are coming up, the next generation behind our millennials, seem to be a lot more favorable toward the idea of purchasing. And I've read quite a few statistical surveys on that. Unfortunately, we can't just hold our breath until these people get old enough to actually want to buy something. We are still going to have to be out there being viable in the marketplace ourselves. I think that we really need to be aware of cultivating and maybe sending out messages about different things. One thing that I've ended up working out quite well is doing a lot of emailing. And I don't know if any of you have tried that. It's been kind of interesting to me because I've done a ton of emailing and reverse prospecting on properties, and it is all the big companies are now contacting me and wanting to work for them because I'm getting such a high opening of message, that is. So we might want to do something specific on how do we make our messaging more pertinent? How do we contact people? What do we actually do to make someone our client? Because that, in a world of artificial intelligence and media messaging, is a very different thing than it used to be when we were starting out. I'm sure Michael and I and Lynn all know what it was like when people told us to have an open house, which really doesn't work as well today. And also when people told us to go out and door knock. Door knocking today, I don't know. I don't think very many people are going to come to their door. Not when even in the nicest of areas, we hear about people being carjacked in the parking lot in Lunds and Linden Hills. We aren't going to get people to be too excited about us approaching their door. So we do have media that we can use. We do have reaching out in different kinds of ways that we can use. And I like to see some of us help each other in that kind of a message.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
got a really great brainstorm idea, kind of picked, following up in that segue there. and I don't think I'm not too sure if any agencies are doing it. I thought Edina was for a while, having an investors club where, and not charging them to come, where it's free. Like Minria, they charge like $320 a year, I think, or it was like that for a long time. And they had some pretty good investors and then a lot of wannabes. But you know, a lot of deals were done there. And I thought about talking to Randy about it because he kind of wanted to spearhead the commercial end. Randy, are you on the call today?
Randy is not on the call today. He has other things that he has going on today. So he will not be joining us on the call today.
Okay, well, does anybody have any insight to my brilliant comment?
Well, then, as you know, I have an investors club like that, and people can join for $1. And when we work together, I give them the dollar back. I hand it to them. And that's helped me build an email list of some investors like that. And I do have contacts in the commercial investment world and in other places that I can utilize to send them listings that would be pertinent to their ability to purchase and to their financial goals. I think if we wanted to do something like that, I would certainly be more than happy to have a meeting maybe at one of the co-working spaces, and we could talk about some of the information that could be utilized for such a thing. I
Well, I
think if
think,
we did that and we put on a little bit of a meeting, we might get some people out, and then agents could come and bring people that they knew would be interested. I think Lynn is speaking, but I don't think we can hear her.
can you hear me?
Now we
We
can.
can now.
I'm so sorry. I've got a new phone. I apologize. It's like 2 days old and I'm having issues. What I was saying is if we had an investors club, we'd have many different areas that people might want to lease. They might foreclosed hotels or apartment buildings or duplexes. There's such a variety of different forms of commercial, but it would be neat if we had guest speakers that would come and speak to the group on lead-based paint removal or taxation, income tax, different things that would apply to new and old investors. And also they could come and talk about different properties they had and they're looking for.
You're
So
talking about something then that would be like that old group that we all used to belong to, where
yeah,
we got together and had lunch and talked about some of the things that were going on in property in the Twin City area. And
right.
that was a local group that was pretty active. I don't know how active any of those groups are right now because I truly have not checked into them, but they used to be really a viable meeting place for investors and realtors.
Right.
I
Well,
really like the ideas that you're talking about as far as having, even if we had a whole one of these meetings just devoted to that, and we, updated it every so often to get more people, in on it, if that's what you're talking about. I mean, I'm
Well,
open.
I think we could make an event out of that and do it, as I said, at one of the co-working spaces. I think the other thing that would be important is most of these people need to know, for example, how to set up an LLC for themselves for their investments. Just kind of the basics. They need to know what happens if they buy a property, for instance, at auction, or if they buy something that's in foreclosure. All of those are viable options today on some of these things. So I think we could put together a really great program if we did a little more brainstorming.
and I don't know if we'd
Yeah.
want monthly or quarterly, but and how would we if we're bringing investors in, are we inviting them and making sure they're our clients? Or are we just opening it up to all the public and
No,
they
I
come
think we are, and I think we do need to make sure they are our clients. For example, if I were to put on a workshop and I brought um 2 or 3 people that were interested in what I had talked to them about, they would still be my client. And we would have one of those client agreements with them. And then Michael could bring some of his people and they would still be his. And we would sit together and we would then talk about what we wanted to do. And we wouldn't necessarily talk about our individual relationship with them and what we know about them. Only what they volunteered in the group would be public. So I think we could build a lot of trust and a lot of rapport if we approached it in that manner. What do you think, Michael?
Well, I don't deal with investment properties or investors. I'm pretty much a buyer's agent. I do
Okay.
first-time home buyers. And I mean, I think that's probably a good idea if that's where your expertise lies, but I'm at the point that I don't think I'm going to get into something like that. Does that make sense?
Okay, well, Michael, I'm sure everything that you've learned is very valuable too. And again, if each of us thought of things that we had kind of more of a deeper knowledge, we could end up giving some kind of a special presentation once a month. And we could do the same thing. We could do and spearhead a first time buyers thing and talk about some of the issues of first time buying. And again, it would be your client, you would bring your client, I would bring mine, other people would bring theirs. A big issue for my first time buyers, I don't know if it's true of everyone, many of these younger people have not paid attention to their credit and they're in pretty awful financial swamps. And I'll call it that for want of a better word. And I think if we had something for first time buyers that dealt with how do you get your credit score to a place that you can actually buy, that might be very valuable. Your buyers might be better than that, but mine, unfortunately, are some of these people that have liked having a lot of travel and they put a lot of travel on credit cards and things like that.
Well, I see the first-time home buyer market has changed since rates went up. We've got rid of probably 40% of the first-time home buyers that would have qualified at 2.5%. And they just don't do it now. Also, there's a lack of cash out there for first-time home buyers for some reason now. And as we all know, that if you're going to have an offer accepted, the chances are much better if you're not asking the seller for closing costs. So I'm seeing right now a shift in my market buying from my client base that's moved from, okay, you can afford a $350,000 house because it's 2.5%. to, oh, I want a $350,000 house, but I only qualify for $250 now, and there's just nothing out there. So I think we're in a really settling out period as far as that's concerned. There's a certain buyer out there that can afford to buy a house no matter what we do. And we just have to go out and find that certain buyer because there's enough sellers out there that are willing to look at offers. It's just that finding a qualified buyer is the hard thing to do. And that I'd be interested in finding out from other people, how do you find qualified buyers?
I just recently had multiple offers on a place, which was only 2 actual offers that came in. And both were qualified, one for 450,000 and one 465, and they purchased a 360 house, which I was happy to see, but it does show you that people are being cautious and not going to the top of their, I was surprised the qualification that they had. One was 465, one was 475. So I was happy to see they both were quite qualified and neither asked for closing costs, so they had the down payment and everything, which is really kind of striking comparatively to the past where everybody's just, struggling along trying to buy the most they can. So.
Yeah, I see that also that I have several clients who are qualified up to $500,000, but they want a $250,000 home, period, because they don't want to overextend themselves.
No, but
And you
two
know,
fifty
it's
can't
smart.
get anything good, you know, that's
Yeah.
another crazy, that's kind of a crazy number, unless you're not in the cities, but.
Well, you know,
even
first
I
time
agree
home
with
buyers don't understand, you know, there's a whole education process. They have to have 2 to 3 offers turned down before they get it. And, you know, it's just a learning process for first time home buyers. And you just hope that they don't get discouraged before that happens. But, you know, there's a lot of reluctance out there as far as purchasing is concerned right now. I mean, I've got several people who are saying, you know, we're just going to wait, which are words I hate, but that's the way it is.
Well, I agree with you, Marge. Even down here in St. Peter and Mankato area, I've been seeing approvals in like the 350, and they're still even going for like a $250,000 house. So, even in that price range, they're still doing it down this way. And
Where it's achievable down there. I mean, you can find 250 outside of the city, outside of the
yeah,
main cities. Yeah.
yeah. So it is a little different down here, but I'm still seeing that same similar trend of people they have this certain number of what they want to pay for a mortgage per month. And that's what they choose.
My son's buying in Baltimore, and I wish I knew the city more, because, you know, things are going down, that some place like that is likely to go more downhill than St. Peter, right? But
Mm-hmm.
it's like, you know, on the other hand, what he's paying for rent is right around, it won't really save him a lot of money, but he'll have write-offs and things to work on that will add value to the house.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, it's just kind of not knowing the area. And
Yeah.
I feel like, well, he's buying at the top of the market, but on the other hand, he'll own something and he'll always be able to rent that out.
Mm-hmm.
So if he moves on, and he's Navy, so they did take the VA loan, but we haven't had the VA appraisal yet. And this place needs some work, so we don't know what'll come through with that. But it's weird to be on the other side. I haven't had a kid buy their own house, so it's that.
I think
That's gotta
that,
be
Marjorie,
exciting.
that's an important point too. And I think that, again, that gets back to the fact that what people think and what is actually true is a really big part of what you're trying to talk about today. And I really commend you for the way that you've approached that. It seems to me you've done a really, really good job with helping people see the point of what they really should want in order to get their foot in there, you know, and get started.
Yeah, yeah. Just, I mean, you know, but I also look back, because I started in 07. So everything continuously went downhill till
All right.
2013. You know what I mean? So we bought
Mhm.
perfectly good houses. My mother lived in for 50,000. So it's hard to, put 20,000 into it. And when it was a resale for more than double that. But now, now those houses are the $250,000 houses. And it's hard to wrap your head around, could this happen again? How far can it go? We don't know. We don't know we have no idea what the future's like.
No, and it's changing much more
That's true.
rapidly. And that I think the unfortunate part is what worked 6 months ago and what works now are just vastly different. And probably by 6 months from now, that'll be true again. I think the biggest thing is we really need to focus on getting some inventory. Back there in 2008, 2009, we had lots of inventory.
Well,
And we, it was a whole different deal. But I think we need to really learn how to focus on getting people to see the value of making a move in any kind of market in order to better their own particular situation, to reallocate their own assets and that kind of thing.
I have a closing tomorrow, 2:35. It buys an okay home in St. Cloud. It's nothing glamorous or anything else. It's a little bit old, about 50 years old or so. All I'm kind of getting at there is when I started with the buyers, I kind of go with the aspect that I'm going to write a few offers. You have to be willing to lose an offer or two if you're not, you know, desperately sold on the house. It's okay to lose out on an offer. You know, put down what you want, you know, and be comfortable with that. It was about the second offer, I would say they started to say, well, should we offer more? And I said, you know, that's totally your option. I don't want you to feel like, you know, I'm telling you to pay more when you're not comfortable with that. I guess I just kind of go with that type of a scenario in the aspect that I'd rather gain their trust so that they don't up and leave and go with somebody else. And it gives me the freedom to know that I'm not, you know, I'm not feeling like I'm pressuring somebody to offer more. I think it was their third house that this one is that they put an offer in on, and they're comfortable with it. They're happy and very easygoing with it. And it's probably the most that they put down as an offer on a house. So.
Well, that sounds like a good success story and another point well taken that uh, being upfront with people and getting
Mhm.
them keyed into reality in this kind of a market does take a few different skills, and you want to have that rapport and that trust so that you can count on their getting the very best thing. Because after all, our goal is to have people be able to live in the best possible home that best fits their needs.
Well, and a lot
So
of these first time home buyers, they're a first time home buyer, so this is their first time. Yeah, you may get them few that have had a home and just requalify for first time, but a
Mm.
lot of these people have no idea what's going on, so they're looking to you for this advice. Yes, they're going to make their own decisions, but that buyer or even seller education, and letting them know, hey, this is what's been kind of going on. It's always changing, but this is kind of what's been going on. Expect that you may not get everything. And one thing I do with my first time home buyers is that wants and needs list. Okay, I need to have 2 bathrooms. I am not having 1 bathroom. Okay, that is a need. Oh, I want a fenced in backyard. Okay, so that's a want. And kind of rehoning them in on that. Okay, keep to your needs. We'll get you your needs. You can always add your wants.
very good point. That's true. And I think sometimes sitting down and going over that and the must-haves and then why they're must-haves and the wants really makes a closer relationship with you. And it also helps you weed out those things that are not that important or those things that at their price point, they're not likely to be able to demand. So that sounds like a really good way to look at it, Amy.
Mm-hmm.
I
Because you
think
can always add and add back equity and add value.
True.
right, and that point of like fenced yard, like to make that point of the location, the neighborhood, the neighbors, the street, the area that works for you, the structure of the house. Those are all things that are hard to change. What's easy to
Mhm.
change is adding a fence, adding decor. I just can't believe how many people get caught up in like, oh, it's so beautiful, you know, that they just, I mean, it is the, what do they say? You know,
The
we've talked about
aesthetics.
that it's, yeah, the aesthetics, that it's not a rational decision. It's like,
Mhm.
oh, this is
A
just what I
feeling decision.
feeling. Yeah. And it's like, no, wait a minute, go outside. Do you want to live here? You know, I mean, it's, yeah, like sometimes I'll just say, you know, drive around the neighborhood, see what you think, because you don't want to steer anybody, but it's also like, are you going to be happy here in 3 years?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, I find that people buy emotionally and then they have to justify it logically.
I had a friend
You're
that bought a
right.
house because of the, swear to God, because of the paneling. It was before I was a realtor, but I was just like, this is the dumbest idea. Dumbest house. It was near a golf course. They had thousands, I mean, the previous people had hundreds of golf balls in little buckets there. So like their house was continuously peppered with golf balls, but there was no back door. There was like literally a door into the garage and a door out the front, and there was no back door. anywhere to the yard, you know, the protected zone, because the golf balls came from the front. And it had, she loved this wood paneling in the family room. And I'm like, but wait a minute, this is so changeable. But anyway, I wasn't involved at all. I was just, retrospect, like, how could you not figure out this layout was really bad? And my first house, I had a realtor who was my father-in-law who wanted a sale. And we walked through after we made the offer, and I said, this is a cute little St. Paul house. And I said, this is going to be the little mud room. You know, we'll put a bench and the coat hooks and all that there. And my mom goes, there's no fridge in here. You know, it was a St. Paul house where that back entry was an add-on to hold the fridge, because it was like from the 20s before they had installed refrigerators. So there was no mudroom. There's a place to put your fridge. And the sellers had, you know, had removed the fridge to make it look more spacious, or because they didn't want to buy one, I suppose. And we also were looking for a fixer. And of course, the house we bought was all clean, white, primed, ready to decorate. But somebody had taken all the smell and dirty carpet and everything out, even though we were looking for a fixer. What did we gravitate to live in? Something that was clean.
Yeah, I am
Yeah,
noticing that
that's
a
an
lot.
interesting thing. What is a fixer these days? It's a lot different. And of course, we've all been helped and hindered by home and garden TV shows.
Right? Yep. Yep. People have big dreams now, big
They
expectations.
do. All those $1 million seaside properties that we've seen people buy,
Right.
and the fact that we probably know more than we ever wanted to about the housing market in Toronto, right? But what's been your most outstanding experience, Musumi?
Yeah, I was in Toronto. I lived there for 4.5 years.
Oh, you were. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
So house prices in Toronto, you cannot find under 1 million.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh, my
it's next
goodness.
to Vancouver house prices. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, my, that must have been a big challenge. Did you find it easier to work here then?
Yeah, it was long ago. I came here 2007. So
Okay. Oh, well, then you've been around about the same time that Marjorie's talking about,
yeah.
Did you start real
observing the
estate
market.
then?
No. I started just now. I got my license this month.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Well,
good for you. Well, welcome to the business. I always say, if someone says, how long have you been in it? I just say too long, because that's probably true. But yeah,
I was
we
working. Mhm. Oh,
well, you
no.
do fine, I'm sure. You've got a great smile and a nice attitude, and it's really, you're all ready. You're dressed up and ready to go.
Are you under
Thank you very
somebody?
much.
Are you working with somebody? Do you have a mentor that's working?
No, I just got my license and I was working schools before. Like when COVID came, I was very much scared. So I left school, and then I was interested in house when we bought our house, 2012 at Eden Prairie. So looking lots of houses, and I have visited lots of places, like warm places that I wanted to live in. Cities like I knew maybe 30, 40 cities, warm cities, house prices before coming in real estate business. I knew cities, house prices like Houston, um,
Where do you
Portland, San
live
Diego.
now?
I
Where do
have
you live
visited
now?
all those places.
But where do you live right now?
in Eden Prairie.
Okay, because I would really recommend if you don't have a mentor, you're not working under somebody or on a team, and you just started, I would absolutely get to know everything you can about Eden Prairie, or just pick one area, do that area thing, go to every single thing that comes on the market so that just try to make showing requests, preview requests. I used to go to, I had an investor, so my boyfriend and I would go to 10 houses a day and look at stuff, and then I really knew the market. But I think it's difficult if you're not working with somebody. Like, there's just so much to it that
Yeah,
it's
I
like,
am.
but instead of running all over, it would be good to pick an area, and being close to your area is the easiest life. It's like Eden Prairie's got good house prices, so
Yes,
start
it
there.
does. And it's
Yeah.
close
You're
to
right,
like
Marjorie. There's a
everything.
real range there, and that's good advice, really good advice.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I was going to join in a team like Yvonne Delgado team. So when I was ready to submit the application with her, she got sick, and so I couldn't join the team. That's
Yvonne did?
why. Yeah, Yvonne Delgado.
Got sick? I didn't know anything about
Yeah, she got sick. I just wanted to submit. I was ready to submit all my papers with her, and she got sick, and
Oh.
so I couldn't join her team.
Well,
We
I
do have
think each
plenty
of us,
of other
now
teams
you've
and
become
mentorship
acquainted
programs.
with us, so reach out to any of us if we can help you. I certainly would be more than happy to help you get specifics if you need them. And I'm sure, Marjorie, you probably would too.
Yes,
and
I have a
we've all
limited
had our,
schedule, but I would totally answer a few questions here and there. It's just that
yeah, that's what I'm
I'm
saying. So if you need a little
absolutely.
bit of
Thank you.
cheerleading,
Thank you. Thanks to all of you. Can I get your number so that I can reach to you? Number or email, anything?
yes.
Is Jeremy on here or somebody to
Yeah, I think we have a list of them, and
of
if
who's
you,
on the
I'm
call?
just under E Fuller at NRG, and then you would get all my information that way. E Fuller at
Maybe
NRGrealtor.com.
everybody can put their email in the chat.
Oh,
Okay.
that will be very helpful. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm assuming there are other teams and other mentorship programs that we had talked about. So those are always options as well.
What are the other teams?
There's multiple other teams. That's something we can go over again over the phone.
Okay.
If you reach out to Francis too, he'd have a list of those teams as well. You would just reach out to Francis and say, hey, I need a mentor, or I want to be on a team.
Yeah, I wanted to be Yvonne's team, but she got sick, unfortunately. And yeah, she's out of touch now. I tried to, because she is sick. I'm sorry for her, but I have no direction. I was going to submit the papers, and then she got sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it does look like Marge and Elizabeth did put their emails in the chat for you there.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a question about the agency relationships and real estate transaction, that form.
Yeah.
I was told by my previous broker that every time you have an open house, you have to have every single person sign that form if they have a question or even talk to you. Because if you don't, then you'll be fined. Is that true still?
That I would have to look into. Personally, I haven't done that. I usually do it at the first major real estate transactions. So usually it's when I'm meeting a buyer at a property and showing them the property, I'll go over that.
Right.
Open houses, I would definitely have to look into that.
I've
I have
never
not
heard
heard
of
that
that.
before.
No,
Yeah,
one
okay.
never has done that. I mean,
No,
I've
I don't think so either.
Okay.
Grace,
Yeah.
what you want to do is you call, I don't know, are you a member of MAR or SPAR?
Well, actually WWRA. So
Well, okay, I
That-
don't know, but you can, what you do is you call your association and ask them for a definition of that. And then they will tell you what exactly you should do, and they will also give you verbiage. And since we have the threshold rule for open houses, if someone comes and says, I have a realtor,
uh-huh.
you are bound to treat them as the distinction between your customer and your client kind of a thing. So you
Right.
owe everybody who comes the same kind of fiduciary loyalty, etc. But you
Right.
have a different sort of fiduciary relationship with that person you have under contract as you as their representative. Now,
Mhm.
I think I would go back to the your local board, and they will define that for you and again tell you what to do there. Because if someone says, yes, I have a realtor, you really can't say to them, well, I can't let you in unless
Yeah.
you sign with me. That just isn't
Yeah.
reasonable.
No, that's actually
Oh.
unethical
It
or
could be illegal. That's.
yeah.
Well, they
I don't
can
know
say
if it's
they
illegal, but I know
decline.
it's for sure unethical.
Well, they can say they decline, which many
Yeah.
of them do. And I
Grace,
think
are you referring to Wisconsin or are you referring to Minnesota?
I'm referring to Minnesota because I
Okay,
have dual
okay.
license, and when I
Okay.
do have an open house, my broker at that time over in Hudson, he's a dual broker also, but
As
he
well.
told me, remember, when you're doing an open house in Minnesota, this is what you need to do so you don't get fined. I said, oh, okay. So
Who was
that's
the
what he told
broker?
Matt Lang over in Hudson.
I mean, because Hudson's so weird about, Wisconsin, every single listing is, you can't show it if you're not licensed here.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so uninviting. God, I
know.
can't stand it. But I
Yeah.
have a property in Wisconsin, and then I have somebody that I get showings with, that I work with. So are you licensed there now or no? In
I'm
Wisconsin?
licensed. I'm licensed in both Wisconsin
Okay.
and
I'll keep,
Minnesota.
drop your email in the thing, because I'll keep in touch with you if you ever want to do showings sometime for a cut, because I'm
yeah.
not licensed in Wisconsin, and I don't even have my CE done for this year for here.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah. So anybody want to use me? I'm licensed in Wisconsin. So in the let's see, chat.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, we have, it looks like, I think about 17 people over in Wisconsin.
Okay,
Not too many, but yeah.
I know, and
know-
I don't know, I don't even know, I used to have Wisconsin. I don't know how hard it'd be to pick up, because I do have a lot of people that ask me because they come out to my property, so they always want to know, and I really should pick it up.
Yeah, I only had to go on CE Shop, so watch for them blast emails of the CE Shop discounts. There's a 13-hour reciprocacy course that you do on CE Shop, and then you just go over to Pearson VUE, take the test, and do all the licensing online, and it's super easy.
So.
I just did it. I
You
just did it as well. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe I should pick that up, because I just don't want one more. I was really gonna get out of real estate, and it's hard to get out of real estate because I'm
Mhm.
doing these light wraps, my shade behind my head. If
Yep.
you're a realtor and you're staging, covers up those bare bulb lights, and now I have magnets. And this weekend I'm going up to Duluth for Arrowwood Home Show to show there. So it's just like, that's the only thing when I sound like I'm short of time, is like, I'll take a phone call over what I need to do, which is this thing afloat. So anyway, I I would love,
Marjorie,
if
you are,
anybody has
you
a
are so
bathroom.
right. It is like a cult, this real estate business. It
Oh,
really is.
it
It
is so hard to get out.
it is. I threaten it
Oh,
myself.
no, that's why it's fun, you know?
Well, it's always
Well,
something different. It's always something
Right.
new. I don't think I've
True.
ever had the same thing happen.
Right, yep.
That's true. Regarding CE house, they all now have a 40% discount this week. Last week when I signed up it was 35, but it's 40% now. So you could check that out. I don't know
Oh,
if that would
thanks,
apply to.
okay. For the CE shop, is that what you said, Amy, too, was the
Yeah.
CE?
I did. Yeah,
Okay,
it's 40% this week. Just go directly to their website.
okay. Perfect.
Yeah, that's what I did. I'm in the process of doing that and down in Florida as well.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah.
Now, are you thinking of moving to Florida?
I want to do possibly my master's down there when I'm at that point, because there is a master's course at the University of Miami for real estate development. I'm currently going to school for architecture, so it just kind of tie all into each other. So
Right.
Oh, well, that sounds really interesting and kind of
Yeah.
forward thinking. So good luck to you.
Good luck.
thank you.
Yeah, wish you good luck.
Thank you.
You're
How many years do you have to
welcome.
go for?
I'm graduating with my 2-year here in May, and then I have 3 years and I'll be licensed with my bachelor's, and then I can go on to my master's if I want, but I found a program that I'll actually be able to get licensed in 3 years now.
Wow, that's exciting.
So
Mhm.
just about halfway.
Well,
But
our time is kind of rolling away and I have to get going, unfortunately. But this has been really useful. I don't know if Jeremy is still on here, Amy, but I think we should probably make a point of each of us emailing something that we'd like to see as a topic to be discovered and to discuss in future meetings. Do you think that would be useful?
yes, that
And
would
then-
be amazing, because then I
and
can
then
get some
maybe-
material put together and everything.
Okay, well then, Amy, maybe what you could do is send out that list and then people could put a kind of prioritize it as 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever it is, and then get us going that way. And don't hesitate to reach out as to any of us who've been here too long as resources, because we have seen it all, and some of it's
Yeah.
better than others, but as everyone has pointed out, it's always been interesting. So thanks a lot for everyone who was a part of this. I just appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah, we
you.
appreciate your knowledge as well. I always love hearing everybody's knowledge, and I always gain something from somebody. Even on buy-sell transactions, I always learn something from the other realtor.
Well,
Mhm.
now,
Yes.
well, goodbye to all. I will see you next
Good
week.
luck with sending.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
You
Have a good one.
day and a good
you.
week, and we'll see everybody next week.
Thank you.
Okay.
Great
All
week.
right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And then Masumi, just reach out to Francis and say, hey, I was really wanting to be on Yvonne's team. Unfortunately, that's when she got sick. And then just tell him that you're looking for either another team or that you're looking into a member or a mentorship program.
Okay. So what is Francis's number?
Well, his number, he's usually best to reach by email, and that's just admin@nrg.com.
Oh, admin at
At
energy.
nationalrealtyguild.com.
Admin at energy or national? I have to do write full.
Let me.
That should be admin at energy
Oh,
as in National Realty Guild,
energy.
admin.com.
Energy. I knew it was missing something. There we go. And it is in the chat there for you, Masumi, so you can double check.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay. Okay. Energy. Okay. Yeah, I was just going to submit all the paperwork. I met her, Yvonne, and she suddenly got sick. I'm so sorry for her, but I don't have anyone until then.
Yeah. So yeah, just I would reach out to Francis, and then he can get you a list of the teams. And then if you wanted to do mentorship, that is an option as well.
Yeah. So is Yvonne available? Do you know? Can you help me, please? Because I
don't know.
tried to reach her, but couldn't reach. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't talk to Yvonne regularly. I know she's a very, very busy person. And if she's sick, I could only imagine. But yeah, I would just reach out to Francis. He's kind of the go-to guy around here.
Okay. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I feel so helpless. Yeah, I felt helpless. Yeah. As I am living in Eden Prairie, and Yvonne's office is in Chanhassen, just our neighboring city. So it's very close to our house. So I went there, and suddenly she got sick.
Well, our other offices are right there in Bloomington, Edina, Minnetonka. We have offices all over.
No, her team office was.
Oh, her team. Yeah, her team
Yeah,
office.
yeah. So, that isn't going well for me, and I'm so new. I don't have any direction how to proceed, and that's why I wanted to join a team. So I will talk to Neil also today. Jeremy gave me Neil's number also, but he's far away from here, and
Okay.
he's in property management, especially. He told me he's in Chisago City. I am in Eden Prairie, so
Yeah.
I know. I went to Chisago City. It takes 1.5 hours to go one way and come back then 1.5 hours. So it's very far away, and he's in property management up till this August, as he told me. So I don't have any direction.
Okay, yeah. Just reach out to Francis. He'll help you out and get you situated.
Okay. Thank you so much. I will email him. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Well, you have a good day, and then the other ladies would be happy to talk to you as well. And then we'll see you next week.
Yeah, thank you so much. And Amy, if I
Yeah.
have any question, can I email you?
Yes, you may. I think you already have my email, but otherwise, let me throw it in the chat here for you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Yeah, you can reach out to me anytime. And I mean, we can do the mentorship program if you'd like. But yeah, we would have to sit down and have a meeting. So if you want to reach out to Francis and see what options you have, otherwise reach out to me. I grew up in Chanhassen, so I know that area really well.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Well, I grew up in Chanhassen, Shakopee area, so all of that area over there kind of is my backyard.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. So so thank you very much, Amy. Thank you.
Thank you. And you have a wonderful day and a wonderful week, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah. Thank you. You too. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks.